with some of the changes that are coming down the pipe, like new websites and e-class templates and some new tools in e-class. So we have lots to talk about. But before we begin, I think it'd be great if everyone could just quickly introduce themselves and tell us what program that you teach for. So, Mary, why don't we start back there?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jane, and I work in the EAP. I'm teaching 140 this semester.
Good.
What is that?
Oh, sorry. English for academic purposes. In the English language program. It's funny, you think everyone knows what you do. That is so important around here.
You are important. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Kao Yasuda. I'm district administrator from Yasuda Women's University in Hiroshima. And I'm not an instructor, but I'm interested in this area.
Good. Good.
And nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming. Gordon?
Hi, I'm Gordon. I'm with the Master of Arts in Communications and Technology program.
I'm Helen Padilla with the Dean's Office. I primarily handle all the violations of student behavior, and none of you are going to have a problem.
If you do, you can spend time with Helen.
That's actually well.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Very good.
I'm Christy Schultz. Some of you know me. I'm the Assistant Dean Academic, so I live in the Dean's office, and the Learning Engagement office is a very important part of my portfolio, and I'm happy to be here.
Thanks, Christy.
I'm Neil Riley. I'm the manager of human resource at the City of Spruce Grove, and I teach in the HR program. Things like HR foundations, things like labor and employee relations, and negotiations. And I also teach a communications program, which is next door, and I have to leave at 6 o'clock because it starts at 6:30.
Daryl Rubis, I teach HR courses in the business programs.
I'm Susan Fox, and I teach in the Information Access and Privacy Protection program, and I teach Health Information Access and Privacy.
Great. You wanna
Yep.
step in there?
I'm Greg Huzzy. I teach in the HR program. Right now I'm teaching workforce planning and recruitment and selection.
Nice to meet you, Greg. We were exchanging emails yesterday.
Yeah, nice
to meet you. Thanks. Okay, Karen.
I'm Sharon Cameron, and I teach strategic planning in the leadership program.
Are we skipping me? I mean, those two didn't go.
Yeah, you're going to get introduced to the Leo team, and Alex is part of the Leo team, so he'll tell you more about it. We'll get up to the plate there. Amy.
I'm Amy Lowe, and I'm with the Visual Art program.
I'm Caroline. I'm in the Occupational Health and Safety program, teaching the fundamentals of auditing course again for this term. Thanks.
Thanks very much. Help us out to more pizza throughout, right?
And I feel it's worth noting, online we have Angela Wines and Glenda Baker. So you can join these live streams, like we're running it online, and we'll have all of this saved and viewable later.
Yeah, and that's a good point. If you can't make it to the sessions here, you can always log in online through the eClass Live tool we'll set up.
Unfortunately, you miss virtual pizza. That's right.
Yeah. You have to make your own. So. Christy, would you say a few words?
I would.
Thank you, Christy Schultz.
Thanks, Brian. I'm going to stand up here. I feel that because I'm shorter, I have to come out from behind the desk. I want to, first of all, welcome all of you to our Learning Engagement Office's Fall Kickoff, and to thank all of you for your work as instructors at the Faculty of Extension. On the days when I remind myself why I get up in the morning, it's not, in fact, just going to spin class, but in fact, it's because after spin class, I get to come here and in some small way support our students. And what I know is that it's you who are directly working with our students, and that makes all the difference in the world. And that's why I get up in the morning for real. I also want to today bring greetings on behalf of Katie Campbell, who may step in at some point this evening. She is a big fan of all of you and the work that you do as well. You probably already know members of the Learning Engagement Office, but I am the lead of their fan club, and I just want to point them out in the room and to express my gratitude for the work that they have done to put on this evening for you. So Brian Brawl, Amanda Magnan, Diane James, Kim Gibson, and Alex Lomas. And they are your Learning Engagement Office team. And for those of you who are relatively new to the faculty, they are super awesome. And you can reach out to them at any time using leolearn@ualberta.ca. One other thing that I did want to mention today that you'll be hearing about in a little while, so you're getting a sneak peek, is the faculty is hoping to work with some instructors as early adopters to build small little videos, 1 to 2 minutes, to tell students, prospective students, about your course and about what you might expect in that course, and perhaps most importantly, why you are passionate about your program or your specific course. So right now I will seed this idea. We have spots in the pilot for about 5 people. So if you would like your very own course promotional video, if this sounds like it would be fun, which again means you get to spend a little bit more time with the Learning Engagement Office team, please send an expression of interest to leolearn@ualberta.ca, and especially if you're willing to experience the pilot experience of that, So thank you all again for attending tonight and for your work as instructors and for making the difference in the lives of our students and for making this such a wonderful place to be. Have a wonderful evening today.
Thank you. So why don't we help yourself to the pizza. There's some cookies on the side as well. Help yourself. Let's begin with the magnet.
Great. So I see some familiar faces, some new faces. For those who don't know me, my name is Amanda Magnan. I'm the Senior E-Learning Specialist on the Learning Engagement Office team. And I'm going to give you a quick and dirty overview of what Leo actually does. So briefly, I'm just going to quickly talk about what Leo's role in Extension is and talk about, some of the supports that we provide for students and for you as an instructor. As well as give you a quick overview of kind of what some of our support resources are and where you can find them most specifically. So again, there's this leolearn@ualberta.ca email address. If you want to follow up on anything that we talk about today, or if you just have general questions, that's going to be your contact. It's a team account, so all of us have access to it. If the person that you're trying to contact is on vacation for 2 weeks, you'll get someone still. You won't be left hanging. So, leolearn@ualberta.ca. So the Learning Engagement Office is a team of an instructional designer, Diane, Brian, our team lead, and then Alex, Kim, and myself as e-learning specialists. And basically what we do is we work as a team and with stakeholders to ensure that our students and instructors are engaging in as meaningful teaching and learning experiences as possible. So in doing that, we kind of have 3 kind of key ways that we do that. So the first being that we collaborate on course design, development, and redesign for continuous improvement in a lot of the courses that we have in Extension. So what does that look like? So that's taking the theory of teaching and engagement and sprinkling in a little bit of understanding of what it is that students actually need and putting that into a practice that results in a really powerful learning opportunity for the students and our faculty. So from the ID perspective, or the instructional design perspective, that might look like Diane sitting down with an instructor and potentially building a course from the ground up. So we might be looking at hammering out some learning outcomes. We might look at coming up with an assessment strategy. We might be looking at helping you design some multiple choice questions, things like that. So from the ground up, or the other thing that we might potentially have is if you're a returning instructor, we can have a sit-down conversation with you. And if you're having problems with any of the assessments in your course or anything like that, that just aren't quite good enough, we can kind of go through that process, have a consult, see what your needs are, and then kind of propose solutions that will meet those needs. from the perspective of the e-learning specialist, what we do is basically make sure that the technology incorporated into the course is appropriate and it's actually adding value. To that end, we also want to make sure that the technology that is integrated into the courses is set up in such a way that allows the students to focus on engaging in the course content and engaging in the course activities without having to fumble around with the technology. Second up, we also work with instructors and our students to navigate the complexities of their teaching and learning environments. So as you may or may not already be aware, the Faculty of Extension actually has a very unique demographic of instructors and students compared to the rest of the university. So most of our instructors are experts in their fields who are contracted into the faculty to basically teach what they're passionate about. But they may not necessarily be formally trained as educators, so that's kind of where we can kind of help. The other thing that's really unique about our faculty is actually our student demographic. So being a faculty for continuing education, we have a lot of students who have not been in a classroom for a really long time. And that can create a lot of apprehension about, coming back to class, having to relearn how to study. And if they are in an online environment, they might have a little bit of apprehension about being in that environment and having to participate online and submit assignments and things like that. So that's where we really come in. We work to help alleviate some of those jitters and basically provide easy access to the ideas, the tools, and the resources that help our instructors and our students be successful while they're with our faculty. So on the student side of things, the bulk of the resources that we make available are on our website, which is brand new and shiny, and I'm really excited to share that with you. That said, students always can access us through this leolearn@ualberta.ca. We can often help them directly if it's something related to eClass or eClass technology, or at the very least, we can kind of shunt them in the right direction. So there's that. For instructors, of course, you always have the option to call us or type an email or schedule a one-on-one consult if there's something very specific that you want to address in any of your courses. But we do also have a whole bunch of different ways that we're able to engage with our instructors and make sure that they're really getting what they want to out of their teaching. So in addition to consults, we have workshops like this one. Thank you for coming. So basically these workshops are designed to give instructors some more information, to get them inspired to really push the boundaries of their teaching practice. So we do these fairly regular. So I think Diane is always sending out emails to kind of let you know when the next workshops are. We also have information about when our next workshops are going to happen on our website. So I'll show you what all that information is as well. We also have newsletters, which you may or hopefully have seen. So these are another venue through which we can kind of provide our instructors with some teaching tips, provide them with updates about eClass, potentially provide links for further reading on topics that you might be interested in. Again, upcoming workshops will also be advertised in this. If you haven't seen this before and you would really like to, again, they're posted on our website, but if you'd like to be on the list to receive those email subscriptions, just connect with one of us at the end of the session, or again, email us at leolearn, and we can absolutely make sure that you're on that list. Next up, we have the instructor handbook, which is this guy here. Our office publishes one of these every year. It's always updated based on things that are happening in the faculty. So in here you'll find things like instructor guidelines or important policies, checklists, and most importantly, contact information for all of the people that you can get in touch with to help really make you succeed in your teaching. And then the last thing that we have is...
Where are those?
Oh, sorry.
Where are those?
So we have some in the back, actually, if you want a paper copy. We do also have a digital copy on our website, so I can show you where you can get one of those as well.
What's the website?
Emailed out the link, did we not email it?
I'm
To
not
the digital?
sure.
Okay, we did
We
do
can.
that, make sure that we send out an email with the link.
Can you
So-
tell us what the website is?
I can, yeah. So it's actually eclass-leo.ca. Yeah. And we made it short on purpose, so it was easy to access and easy to remember. So everything that we're kind of talking about today you'll be able to access it through that website. Okay, so kind of the last kind of piece that we involve ourselves in making sure that our students and our instructors are engaging in those really rich and meaningful experiences is we also provide expertise and support in eClass and eClass Live and other e-learning technologies. If you've been to one of our sessions before, Kim did a wonderful presentation on Kahoot. So it's not just eClass, there's so many other things that you can actually do. Having said that, eClass is actually used by probably a majority of the courses in our faculty. Some courses just use it as a place to plot the syllabus and that's it. Other courses, like the courses in the IAP program, for example, run fully online using the eClass interface. So students are in there, they're accessing all their materials through eClass, they are submitting assignments through eClass, participating in online discussions and all that kind of stuff. So it's a really powerful tool. But the thing with educational technology that you really have to kind of keep in mind is that it is a tool. You shouldn't really just use it because, I should really use some technology, because sometimes that just doesn't serve anybody very well. So if you're looking at it as a tool, it's a tool to make your life easier, and it's a tool to make the lives of your students a lot easier. So just a quick survey. Is there anybody who is doing pen and paper exams or quizzes in their class? Hey, perfect. So what if I told you that I could help you digitize that exam and save you hours upon hours upon hours of marking and just have eClass do all of the marking for you from this point on?
As long as they're not long answer questions.
There are some caveats, as Diane points out, but things like multiple choice, some short answer, depending on what that kind of looks like. Those are hours and hours and hours of time that you don't have to worry about, marking, and you can actually devote to, maybe incorporating some new ideas into your course and kind of exploring all of those new ideas. The other thing that we can also do, Alex will be talking about the assignment tool. So if you are a person who is collecting assignment submissions by email, the assignment tool can give you a single place to collect all of those submissions and grade them all on one screen, and it is pretty magical. I think Alex has had a couple of instructors that he's worked with who, again, just hours and hours and hours of time that you've been able to save. So technology can be glorious if it is set up right and you know how to use it. So that's kind of where we come in. If you have been shying away from using eClass just because you don't know what's involved, or perhaps you're in a situation where you're using eClass because you have to and you absolutely hate it, please let us know, because we can sit down with you, we can talk about what it is that you need, and we can, again, propose solutions that will allow you to use the tool effectively and save yourself, quite honestly, a lot of time.
Can I just ask a question about the exam thing then?
Yeah.
So how do you ensure that it is in fact a closed book quiz?
So there are certain precautions, and we can talk about this in a one-on-one, possibly later. But there are certain things that you can do, so you can add a time limit. There is actually an option to do a lockdown browser as well, which basically makes it such that the student can only have their quiz open at one time, and then they can't access any other windows or things like that. That, of course, doesn't prevent them from being able to flip through their binder. But Diane would be actually a really great person to talk about this with. But you can actually develop assessments that test kind of beyond just the, okay, I need to look up this answer real quick. And then that kind of alleviates that from being an issue. But yeah, so if you ever have any questions, if you ever have any questions about the types of things that you might want to do in eClass, or you might not even know that you could do something, talk to us and we can kind of explore those possibilities with you. So before I pass you off to Kim, who's going to talk to you about some of the recent eClass changes that we actually have had, I just wanted to quickly show you what our new website actually looks like. We are pretty excited to finally unveil this for you. So previously, it is live, I promise. It would seem that the computer has frozen. Anyways, so the new website.
It's such a clean website.
we went very minimalistic. Okay, well maybe it'll pop up here, but essentially this is the address, again, ext-leo.ca. Basically, what we've done is we've broken it out into a student section and an instructor section. So having everything in one site makes it really easy for the instructors to kind of see what kind of resources are being made available to students. So then if a student is having some issues in the course, you can kind of say, hey, you should, check out this resource. It's going to be really great for you. Or contact these people. They can help you out. So the way that it's kind of designed is it's all kind of needs-based. So as an instructor, you would go into the for instructors section, and then there's a section that will talk about, okay, what am I looking for? So if you need some information about how to use eClass effectively, or if you are looking for information on how to submit your grades through BearTracks electronically, or if you are looking for some templates, or you're looking for those professional development opportunities that we post, you'll be able to find that all on the website. So I definitely recommend, I really wish I could have shown you. I strongly recommend that you take a look at the website, kind of peruse through it. We are constantly adding new stuff. Previous to the summer, it was all very eClass focused, but we're trying to expand on that both for our students and for our instructors. So definitely take a look, and if you have any suggestions on things that you might want to see, we are absolutely welcome to receiving that kind of feedback. So just let us know. Yeah,
it would appear that the VM has frozen because everything's showing fine in the live stream.
Oh, really?
Oh, no, lovely. Yeah. Everybody get on the live stream really fast. All right, so I'm going to give Ryan a call.
Okay, sounds good. So now's a great opportunity for questions if you have any. Yes, Susan.
Every year we have to post to the students, don't plagiarize or you're going to go to jail or something like this. Would we direct them to this website then to read that section?
You could. I would still recommend posting something right in eClass because then it's going to be right in their face and they can't miss it, which is kind of a really important piece. One of the requirements even for face-to-face instructors is that is talked about in class. So I would still recommend posting it as an announcement just so it's like, oh, I can't miss that. Because otherwise it's just another link that they have to click on and find that later. But yeah, good question.
Would your office also be assisting them with the bring your own device if they have questions?
So so for those types of things, I think you'd probably be better off contacting IST. So if you do have the instructor handbook, there is in the beginning here somewhere.
Ryan's on his way.
Okay, so in the beginning of the instructor handbook, there's actually a whole bunch of there's a bunch of contact information for different units in the faculty that can provide assistance. IST would be your best bet for those kinds of questions, just because they are more hardware kind of related.
And should this happen to you while you're teaching? There's actually a phone number on the board,
and in the handbook.
And then you call, and literally, the last time I did it, I literally walked to the podium and said, Ryan's on his, and he comes in the door. That's where it hasn't worked, but you're like, no, he's right on his way.
Yeah. If,
more pizza?
Yeah.
They're very good.
Yeah. Which is good, because I mean, it's always kind of like it's an emergency at that
They're
point.
only available to a certain time of the evening, aren't they?
Till 7. Yeah, 7 to 7.
Which is usually enough time to kind of get you set up and make sure that you're ready to roll. But, yeah. So if we have time at the end, I will give you a quick demo of the.
Are they open for the weekend? I teach you the weekend.
IST? I am unsure.
There's always
You
someone
can
on
ask
call.
Brian when he gets there.
There's always someone on call.
Okay.
Yeah, so you call them.
Hey, this is man of the hour.
So Amanda, while you're looking after that,
yeah.
So is the video on like plagiarism, all that kind of stuff still on the console? Like I shows that.
I believe it should be. I can double check once it's back on.
Okay.
Yeah. I could email that link to my
Yeah, and that's actually a really good suggestion of something that we can post to the website.
Yes.
You could even embed it.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would like to.
Great question.
Yeah, I find it really helpful to show that video because it's about Western points and like.
Oh yeah, so instead of having to be like, oh my goodness, did I forget something?
I show it every time. Good. I always say, I'm sorry, you know, if you take class classes, you see this over and over again,
Okay, good, I'll just try it, just to get the receipt.
It's just on the console.
It's on there.
That's bizarre.
Make sure, okay, make sure you get, you know how it is. My hand up. Yeah, this helped my hand, Dr. Pass me on to
Of course. Thanks, Ryan. My pleasure.
Of course, one time I did try to explain myself and I found out I wasn't properly. I had put my courses program properly, and I could, and so like, I tried to so hard, right? And then I finally felt like you guys helped me. So I don't we have enough literature course or something. Yeah, it happened, that's what happened.
So, what happened like when it froze? Like, did a different window open up? Or?
I went to, yeah, so I had a Google slide presentation, and I had a link to the website, and I clicked on the link, and then that was the end. It didn't load.
Okay.
It just closed white. But you could still see the
Yeah, I saw like the taskbar disappeared too. I tried switching applications and it wasn't working. I tried like just getting to like the task manager to try to do something there, but here, go ahead and send it.
Each fingers are starting to get trembling.
Oh yeah. It's a little nerve-wracking.
It happens.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I feel like anybody who sits in front of a class and talks to people should take a course at some point just to get used to like being in front of people and hey, when things go sideways sometimes, like okay, so far so good. What's really bizarre is that it opened like it just loaded the page because that was obviously what happened before, right? Oh no, that's the PowerPoint.
Yeah, it's done now.
There it is. Cool.
Brian.
This is the website.
Is your help available in the weekend?
On the weekend, no, it is.
Oh, they all are. Yeah. Okay, and now I have to go up to Kim, who will meet you in a minute.
Yes, hello everyone. Sorry. Kim on deck. Let's move this on. This is our beautiful website, and again, you can access this by typing in ext-leo.ca. If you forget it, you can just email us at leolearn@ualberta.ca. Are you seeing a theme here? We are setting things up for you so that to make your job easier. That's all we want to do. Basically, to recap what Amanda just said. So, I wanted to go over some of the changes that were made in eClass in June, just a few months ago. Some of you have probably already accessed eClass by now, and some of you also probably needed to change your pants after doing so, like where did everything go? So I'm going to briefly go over all of that stuff. Just to introduce it, I'm going to play you a short video that's going to kind of tell you everything you need to know in one of these windows. Oh, was it gone?
There were a whole bunch of windows.
Where's my video?
Yeah, you had it in the Firefox.
Oh, someone sabotaged me. Never fear. This sort of
I think
thing
it was sitting above
happens
I did see it.
all the time.
No.
Ever happened to you when you're teaching? You're like, "Ah, I swear I was prepared."
Well, that's my drive.
Is it?
Yep.
Why did it sign into your?
Because you're on my tab.
Oh, wow. We're getting closer.
I feel it.
All right, here we go. A 3-minute video to just show you what's changed.
This short screencast introduces students to some of the major interface changes coming to eClass in summer 2018. Let's start by looking at a course in the new version of eClass. The largest change is the redesigned left-hand column, which can now be easily hidden using the icon in the top left corner of the screen. This allows students to focus on accessing course content. In the previous version of eClass, the left column contained the navigation and administration areas. The basic navigation options from these old left nav areas are still available in the new left nav. Dashboard, course overview page, participants, grades, links to other content sections within the course, and links to other courses. In addition to the left nav drawer, you can now also navigate in eClass using a new breadcrumbs list in the header of a course. For example, from within a particular page of content, there are links to the content section, the course main page, and the course overview page, the dashboard. Other new tools appear in the top green navigation bar that will be useful for students. The notifications menu here collects alerts from across your courses for events like posts in forums where you're subscribed, assignment submissions, and grading feedback alerts. You can configure which types of notifications you see here by clicking this gear icon. The messages menu here collects any personal messages sent to you by colleagues and professors. Once again, you have the option to configure these messages under the gear icon.
Okay, so to recap that video, a lot of the changes that have happened in eClass are largely cosmetic. It still does the same thing, they just gave it a facelift. So they talked about new navigation options that you have. There's now the administrative functions have been shifted up to a gear icon, which we'll see on most pages in the top right corner. They have a new participants list where you can easily access everyone who's enrolled in your course and see what they're doing. You can add blocks yourself if you feel so inclined, that if you like to change things up a little bit. And there's a course management block too, so you can see, is my course actually available and when does it not become available? So let's actually go through, Kim, how do I access eClass? Simple enough. If you are lost, return to ualberta.ca. It is your homeland. It will guide you to where you need to go. Up at the top, you will see a little navigation bar with some links. And the second last one is eClass. So if ever you're like, I need to get into this class, I don't remember how, go back to ualberta.ca, click on eClass. So this page has changed a little bit. It used to be there was a yellow button and a green button. The colors were throwing people off. A lot of people thought I'm an extension, ergo I go into external courses, but you don't do that. That's for non-credit courses and partnered with other institutions. It's not involved with us. Click on the big pretty green button, University of Alberta Credit Courses, that's us. It's going to ask for your CCID and password. So note, it's not your full email, it's just the first part of it, the CCID part. Hopefully you remember your password. But if you don't, you can always call, is it the SO desk, or they wouldn't do that for instructors, would they? ITS can reset your password for you if you ever forget, which you can find the contact information for in our instructor handbook. So you'll come to a page that looks something like this. This is the course overview page, or the dashboard. So on the left, you'll have some navigation options within courses, and here you'll have your meat and potatoes, so a lot of the courses that you are enrolled in currently. The green ones are currently open, the gray ones have since closed, and they get archived about every 5 years or so, and that's when they'll
finally disappear for you out there. So I'm going to click on my course specifically and kind of show you around. So one of the things mentioned in the video is the new participants list. So before there was participants, but there was also users, and the function was kind of spread out and was kind of, not intuitive. Where do I go to do what? Now it's all rolled into one. You can find that in the top left corner here under this. From here, you can see everyone who's ever been enrolled or who is enrolled in your course. You can filter it out by, I'm looking for someone named Henry, so you click on H for first names. You can do that for last names as well. Up at the top here, you'll have a search bar. And with this search bar, you can actually filter what role you want to see. In this case, you can say, I just want to see who my students are. So that gets rid of us, other administrators in the program office, maybe there's tutors enrolled in your course. And that way, if you need to, you can see specifically how many students are enrolled, if that's something that ever comes across your way. Additionally, we have a messaging tool. So this was here before, but now they've made it a little easier to access. It's just by this little Facebook-looking icon in the top corner. We don't recommend you use this as a reliable way to contact your students, just because the settings are there for people to turn off notifications for when you do send them a message. So if you're sending them really important information, there's a chance they might not get it depending on what their settings were before. If ever you need to contact your students, we always recommend that you use the announcements form. Usually we set that up so it forces a subscription, and it'll send an email copy out to everyone once you've made a post. If they lose that email, the message will always live in the announcements forum. So you just have to write it once, send it out, and now they have 2 copies of it, kind of. One that lives forever, so long as they can get back into the course. Another thing to cover is the hidden from students function. So before, whenever you said, this isn't ready, I want to hide it for now from students, you could hide an item, it would be grayed out. It looks a little differently now. Whenever you hide an item, the title will be grayed out, but the rest of it will still look the way it normally does. So your key to finding out, is this item hidden or not, is this little green label here that says hidden from students. Depending on how big your item is, it could be cumbersome to see if it's hidden or not, so just always look for that little label, and that'll tell you how things are looking. If you do want to see what life looks like as a student, you can come up here to your little dashboard of sorts. Click on that little drop-down area, and you've got a few options here, including switch role to. So if I change my view to student, it will kick me out of this course because students aren't allowed in it right now. But when you do that, you will see exactly what the student sees in your course, which can be helpful if you want to make sure certain things are hidden.
On the announcements, you just have to remind the students to look at announcements.
Right.
Because they have a tendency of forgetting to do that sometimes. If they don't.
Yeah, so some students, they got to keep on top of that, because that's, how else do you get a hold of your students, right? Especially when you're doing something online, they're going to have to check their email. But the email also tells them, this came from the announcements forum, if you need it, go back there. So this is your land of promise. Everything, you can only do so much, right? One of my favorite things that has been reintroduced, so this is a blast from the past, I guess, is the breadcrumb menu. So if you're not familiar with breadcrumbs, it's kind of like when you're going through a website and you leave a crumb behind yourself so you can find your way back down the trail. And then you can just jump certain steps back if you wanted to go back to your main course page. So, for example, if I went into a quiz here, I can't go to the quiz yet, so I can now skip back 2 steps to go back to the main course page. Depending on how deep students get into the rabbit hole, that can be easy if they just want to leap all the way back to where they were before. And just to recap the video, last 2 things. Along with the breadcrumbs was the navigation on the left-hand side. If this annoys you, you're on a tiny screen, you can always collapse it and reopen it with the icon in the top left corner. The top part of navigation is for navigating within your course. It's just another way of getting around.
Below that, you can navigate to other courses. So if you're teaching more than one in a semester, you're done grading in this one, you can just hop to the next one right from here. And like the video mentioned, it's not up top in the corner like they said it would be, but we move the course management block down here a bit. So this will just give you a peek at when the course will open and when it will close. I do not think we give you the opportunity to edit that because chaos may ensue, so just let us know if dates seem wonky to you and you want to get that checked out.
I just asked a question. What is archive this course? Because I've never clicked it and I've got about 3, 4 sitting in there. I'm scared to hit it. What is it?
As far as I know, they don't have permissions to archive a course, correct, Amanda?
Depends on what kind of course you're running.
That's true.
So when you archive the course, basically what it does is it takes your course off the system and puts it onto a shelf in ISD servers.
Okay.
So if you ever want to get content from that course to roll over into a future course, you can't. It's also really important with that archiving feature, if you are co-instructing with the course and you archive the course, that co-instructor is not going to be able to access any of that content either. So IST does have an automatic archival process that happens every 5 years. So, I mean, if you really want to get rid of those courses, you can actually go into your eClass course overview and you can hide courses so that they don't appear for you. So that would kind of be my recommendation if you're running into that. Thank you.
So keep avoiding it.
Yeah.
Are there any questions before I pass it on to a really exciting presentation? Yes, Sharon.
One time I was working on grades,
Mhm.
and there was a nifty system that helped me calculate them, so that was all good. But students were checking as I was still calculating. And so is there a way to block that so that they can't see that until I'm ready to post?
There, in fact, is. Should I leave that for you, Alex?
I am going to touch on it.
Yeah, Alex is going to go through assignments and grades and all the cool
Okay.
functionality there.
Great.
So,
Thank
without
you.
further ado, I shall pass it on.
All right.
Swap spots with you.
All right, thank you, Kim. Oh, that's right, you changed around all my stuff. Right, so as Kim mentioned, I'm going to be talking about specifically the assignment tool and some of the changes in it. So this is going to assume that you've used the assignment tool a little bit. If you're like, I have no idea what's going on in any of this, absolutely please do reach out to us. We're real psyched to talk about this. There's no hint of sarcasm in there. I actually like this stuff.
Specifically Alex.
Yeah. And once again, you can get a hold of us at leolearn@ualberta.ca. All right, so I'm just going to show you creating a new assignment. I'm going to toss one in here. So this will be a demo. As you may know, you can add a description if you wanted, some additional files, availability, submission types. This is something that's new here. Who's gotten a file from a student and they just have no idea what to do with it? They're like, I just can't open this. Yeah. The weirdest one I ever got was an instructor who was like, hey, do you know how to open a .hwp file? Does anybody know what that is? Yeah, it took me
So I do a little mini lesson the next morning on what X is because they told me what it was. Those are often anonymous, but they're often really quite useful. So once you have some information recorded, what do you think? What do? You think, you talk, you read, and you ask. So one of the things that you should do is think. You think about what it is you were doing, but then you talk to your colleague. So you talk to your friend, you talk to your co-worker, somebody that also teaches with you or is in your program, and that will give you an opportunity to actually come up with some new ideas, things that you hadn't thought about that they're using in their classroom that you don't know about in yours. Read. So in the newsletter, in the upper corner on the second page, in a little yellow next to a stack of books, every time we put out the newsletter, I will send you a link to things to read. So it might be a new book that's out this month. It's an open resource, an OER, Open Educational Resource. It's a PDF that you can download for free on new ways to assess. I know, who knew? So it's an opportunity for you to join our little monthly book club. And then ask your students what you can do. Ask your colleague who comes to watch you, what can you do better? How can you make those kinds of differences? And finally, go online to teaching communities. How many people go online to teaching communities? No? Try it. It's amazing. Just use Twitter as PD, and it's amazing what you will find if you find the right number of people to connect with. So you don't have to follow the Kardashians, and it's not important that you figure out what, the Prime Minister is doing or the President. What you can do, however, is you can follow PD, and you can get an awful lot of stuff. So let's say you go to Twitter and you look up OHS teaching. I bet you'll find a Twitter somewhere out there where somebody's doing that, or the same with EAP, or the same with visual arts, or the same with HR. You will find somebody out there tweeting about how to teach in that area, and I tell you, it's a lot of fun. Then go to any PD. Well, you're well sold on this one, but I need to get at your colleagues because we have over 200 instructors. I need to bring a few more of those folks in. And then don't forget to ask Leo for a session. Come and talk to me. You've got a problem in your classroom. I solve problems you don't know you have. Well, at least educationally. The rest of them, I'm afraid you're on your own. So reflective teaching is cyclical, because once you start it, then you evaluate it, you reflect on it, and you start again. So it's never something that stops, unless you stop teaching. But even then, you're connected in some way to teaching somebody something. So what are you doing? Why are you doing it? How effective are the students responding? And how can you do it better? And so you don't end up like this person. I don't have enough time. I need to teach using the textbook. I don't have enough resources. I might lose control of the class. No. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Any trouble? Come see us. We are the Leo team. Woohoo! Anyway, my name and email and phone number are down there. How to reach us in a generic way is up here. Notice how we keep pushing the website. Our website is right here. And then you can see who we are. Daryl.
Question?
Yes.
Active learning. I'm hearing more about it all the time. What's your feeling on doing stuff in active learning versus sometimes people just sit and listen?
I intersperse active learning with mini lectures. So there's certain things that need to be foundationally taught, But a lecture doesn't need to go on for more than 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes. And sometimes you can actually put your lectures in video and do what's called a flipped classroom. So you could actually have your video up on eClass. So the students, when they're home and they have a few minutes, they can listen to your lecture and get it organized in their head. But the classroom is a really good place for active learning. So how many people here in their history of learning, because all of you have been learners at some point or another, if not still, and you've gone home and you've listened to the instructor and you're so enthusiastic and you know everything they want you to do, and you get to the assignment and you go, I can't remember if I'm supposed to go left or right. I don't know if I'm supposed to go up or down. It's not in the book. I don't know what to do. So you're sitting in your bedroom, you're 3.5 hours in, and you haven't figured out yet how to put this assignment together. So my argument, my suggestion would be some of that lecturing going online, so that's what they listen to at home. They listen to the lectures and read their articles. But when they come to the classroom, that's when you actively get them engaged in the materials. So those homework assignments that you would have sent them to do, make the class loud and noisy, and they're sitting here and they're working in pods and they're working in teams and they're solving problems and they're figuring things out, but they're doing it while you're there to answer their questions, help them out, give them some ideas. So I really do, I'm a big proponent of active learning. Now, are there circumstances where active learning is a little less valuable? Absolutely. But if you can sit down and figure out all of the balance in your class or the pacing or the way that you want to play it out, then you can very much play with some active learning and then some reflection and then some journaling and then have them work in pairs or triads. There's lots of ways of mixing it up so that you don't have to you can teach them things in multiple ways. Does that help? Anyone else? All right, I've run over time. Kim kept giving me the hook and I kept going. Like all good teachers, you can't shut me up. All right, so thank you for your time. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email. And if you want to know any of these things, I can send you a copy of the slides, and also they'll be recorded as well. So, all right, thank you.
Again, thank you. Thank you very much for taking the time to come and join us at the workshop. We do appreciate it very much. Look for our website. That's how to contact us. We're open for business questions. Please contact us. That's what we do. So, thanks, everybody.
Cookies.
Cookies.